The night my best friend died, his mom called me at midnight. And what she whispered, I wasn't ready for it. I've never told this story out loud. Not to my family, not to anyone. But I think it's time. Because what happened that night didn't just change me. It broke me open in a way I didn't know I needed. This is the story of Marcus, his mom Linda, and the secret she carried for 20 years. A secret she finally let go of. At midnight, in a hospital hallway, with tears running down her face. So stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to see friendship, love, and loyalty in a way you never have before. Marcus and I met when we were 7 years old. He threw a basketball at my face on the playground. Not on purpose, he just had terrible aim. I cried. He felt bad. He gave me half his peanut butter sandwich. And just like that, we were best friends. We grew up 3 blocks apart in a small town in Ohio. The kind of town where everybody knows your name. And your mom's name and your grandma's name too. We rode bikes together, got in trouble together, failed math together. He was the brother I never had. His mom, Linda, was one of those people who made you feel like you belonged the second you walked through her door. She always had food ready. She always remembered what was going on in your life. When my own parents were fighting, and they fought a lot back then, I would go to Marcus's house just to sit in the kitchen while Linda made dinner. She'd talk to me like I was her own kid, like I mattered. I didn't realize until much later how much that meant to me. Marcus and I stayed close through high school, through college, through all the messy years in between. He got married to a woman named Diane, had a daughter named Rosie, the most curious little girl you've ever seen, always asking questions, always following us around, wanting to be part of whatever we were doing. Marcus used to say Rosie was going to either become a scientist or a detective, probably both. I was his best man at his wedding. He was mine. Life got busy the way life always does. We didn't talk every day anymore. But every few months, one of us would call, and we'd pick up right where we left off. That's the thing about real friendship. It doesn't need constant watering to stay alive. Then, 3 years ago, Marcus got sick. It started with headaches, then fatigue. Then one day, he couldn't feel his left hand properly. The doctors ran tests, then more tests. Then they sat him down and gave him news that no 38-year-old man should ever have to receive brain tumor, aggressive, fast-moving. I drove 6 hours to see him the week he was diagnosed. He opened the door, looked at me, and said, and I'll never forget this. He said, "Man, you look terrible. Did you sleep in your car?" I had, actually. I was so desperate to get there, I just drove through the night. We sat on his porch for 4 hours that day. We talked about everything. His treatment plan, Diane, Rosie, old memories, stupid things we did when we were teenagers. He made me laugh even that day. Even then. That was Marcus. Over the next 18 months, I watched my best friend fight. He did chemo. He did radiation. He tried every option the doctors gave him. He never complained. Not once, not in front of me. He'd get quiet sometimes. You could see the weight behind his eyes. But he always came back around. Always cracked a joke. Always asked about my life, my family, my problems, like his weren't enormous enough to fill the whole room. Linda was there through all of it, driving him to appointments, sitting in waiting rooms for hours, cooking food he could barely eat because the treatment had taken his appetite. She never left his side. I visited as often as I could. And every time I walked into that house, Linda would hug me like I was her own son. She'd hold on a little longer than usual. And sometimes, when she pulled back, her eyes were doing that thing, that quiet, heavy thing, where you know someone is carrying something too big to say out loud. I noticed it. I just didn't ask. I should have asked. The last time I saw Marcus, he was in the hospital. He was tired in a way that scared me. Not sleepy. Deeply, completely exhausted. Like his body had been in a long war and it was finally running out of fight. We talked for a while. Quietly. I held his hand. He told me to look out for Diane and Rosie. I told him to stop talking like that. He smiled and said, "I'm just being practical, man." That was the last real conversation we had. He passed away 2 days later. Quietly, in the night. Linda was with him. I got the call at 6 in the morning. I sat on the floor of my kitchen for a long time after that. I don't even know how long. Time stopped making sense. The funeral was small. Just family and close friends. Diane held Rosie's hand the entire time. Rosie was 9 years old and too young to fully understand what she was losing. But she cried anyway. I think kids know more than we give them credit for. I stayed for a few days to help with things. arrangements, paperwork, all the horrible practical stuff that fills the space after someone is gone. Like the world is trying to keep you too busy to fall apart. On the last night before I was supposed to drive home, I couldn't sleep. It was almost midnight, and I was sitting in the living room in the dark, just sitting there, not thinking about anything specific, or maybe thinking about everything at once. That's when Linda came downstairs. She saw me sitting there, and she didn't say anything at first. She just sat down next to me. We stayed like that for a few minutes, quiet. The house was completely still. Then she took a slow breath and she turned to look at me. And she said, "I need to tell you something. I've been holding it for a long time. I was waiting for the right moment. But I don't think there ever is a right moment for something like this." I looked at her. I didn't say anything. She said, "When Marcus was first diagnosed, the very first week, he called me. Not Diane. Me. He was sitting in his car in the hospital parking lot, and he called me crying. And I asked him what he was most afraid of. Not dying. I asked him what he was most afraid of leaving behind." She paused. She pressed her lips together like she was trying to hold herself together. "He didn't say Diane's name first," she said. "He didn't say Rosie's name first." She looked at me, and her voice dropped to almost nothing. "He said your name." I felt something crack open in my chest. She kept going. She said Marcus told her that the thing that scared him most was that I didn't know how much he valued me, how much our friendship had meant to him, not just in the fun, easy years, but in the hard ones. The years when his marriage was rocky, the years when he felt like he was failing as a father, the years when he questioned everything about himself. He told her that I was the one constant that never made him feel like he wasn't enough. He told her I was the reason he believed he was worth something during some of his darkest years. And he made her promise, if something happened to him, if he ran out of time, he made her promise that she would tell me, because he was afraid he'd never find the right words himself. I couldn't speak. I just sat there with tears coming down, and I couldn't stop them, and I didn't try. Linda put her hand on mine, and she said, "He loved you like a brother. But more than that, you made him feel seen. And that's the rarest thing one person can give another." Then she said one more thing. She said, "And I want you to know, I always thought of you as mine too. From the day he brought you home with a bloody nose and half a peanut butter sandwich. You were always mine too." I broke completely. I'm not ashamed of that. I cried in a way I hadn't let myself cry since he died. All of it came up at once. The grief, the years, the love, all of it. She held my hand and let me. We sat there for a long time after that. Just the two of us, in the dark. In the quiet house where Marcus had grown up. Where I had eaten 1,000 meals. Where I had felt safe when my own home didn't feel safe. I drive out to see Linda every couple of months now. I help her with things around the house. We eat together. We talk about Marcus, the funny stories. I check in on Diane and Rosie too. Rosie is 11 now. She has his eyes. His exact eyes. Sometimes I look at her, and I have to take a second. I think about what Marcus said from that parking lot. That what scared him most wasn't death. It was leaving without the people he loved, knowing how much they mattered. And I think about how many of us are doing the exact same thing, walking around every day with all this love and gratitude just sitting inside us, waiting for the right moment, waiting until it's not awkward, waiting until we find the perfect words, waiting. Marcus ran out of time before he found his moment, but he was smart enough to give that moment to someone else to carry for him. Linda delivered it. At midnight. In a dark living room. In a whisper. And it was the most important thing anyone has ever said to me. So I'll say what I think Marcus would want me to say right now, directly to you. Don't wait. Whatever it is you've been meaning to tell someone, that you love them, that they saved you, that they matter more than you've ever said out loud. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Call them. Text them. Drive to them if you have to. Because the people who matter most to us deserve to know it while there's still time to hear it. While there's still time for it to mean something. While there's still time for them to carry it with them. Marcus knew it from a parking lot in his worst moment. Linda whispered it to me at midnight. Now I'm telling it to you. Don't let the people you love go to sleep tonight without knowing it.